Hey, what's up, y'all? It's your girl Dia Direct. Listen, so I have been doing the Superpower Her podcast since 2017, and everybody got a podcast now, right? And I was really trying to, figure out and kind of struggling with, what direction do I want to go in, and I've been praying about it and thinking about it, and this year, the theme that God gave me for my life and for the podcast is elevation. And I'm really seeing Him move already in that area in my life. And I sense elevation in terms of where I'm going in my life and the things that I want to do within and without, right? The things that I want to offer the world. And I really wanted to start this podcast season 8, actually. I wanted to start it on a high note. I really did. I really wanted to start it on a high note and talking about what it means to elevate, and we'll get there. But I got to tell you, this sister, Antoinette Candia Belly, who just committed suicide, her story, it really hits home for me. And I know it does for so many Black women in particular who are struggling and working, maybe successful, but working unwell. And Antoinette, if you don't know the story, was in a vice president's position at Lincoln University and HBCU in Missouri. And she had been struggling with her mental health and well-being. And she, from what I understand, disclosed this to her boss, the president of the organization. And she felt like she was bullied and not supported in sharing. When you're sharing something that intimate about yourself, that's scary to do, especially as someone who's in a leadership position. That puts you in a very vulnerable place. So to share it and to not have it supported or to have it mocked or have it used against you, that's hard. And especially for Black women who were always told you have to be twice as good in everything that you do. You have to basically show up flawless, right? Which, being a human, that's not an actual realistic expectation. But we have this mindset that we have to always be the one to help and save everybody else, to make sure that we're always on point in all that we do. And so when you let your guards down and you share your vulnerabilities and it's used against you and it's weaponized, that is challenging. And so she was fired and given very low marks and let go. And she went home and she took her own life. And as a woman who understands what it means to be a colored girl who considers suicide when the rainbow is enough, this really hit my heart in a different way. And it reminded me that the reason why I wrote this book, You're Successful, but Are You Okay? Real self-care strategies to preserve your sanity in the workplace, y'all. That's what the book is about. That's what the journal is about. And to see and know that the rates for mental health, um, anxiety, depression, that Black women are dealing with every day, those rates are going up. And it's going up even more for younger women who are dealing with a lot of anxiety and being bullied online. And so the struggle is real. And I just really want to give you an encouraging word today. I'm not going to be before you long, but my subject for today is arise from the ashes, sis. Arise from the ashes. I know it's hard. I know we've always had to be so many things for historically for so many people have been riding our backs, right? And we show up for them. And a lot of times there's not enough room for what you want or need or to just to take a breath. And we think there's no time for self-care because I've got to do all these things and I've got to perform and I've got to be the best and I've got to help others and take care of others. And I'm telling you, you can't afford for it not to be. What I want to offer today is, as we think about whatever success may be in your mind, that you make sure that peace of mind is on that list. If peace of mind isn't a part of your definition for success, it might be time to include it. It might be time to reconsider how we define success. And so, because I understand that we've literally been the walking dead, so to speak, and that we've been carrying these loads because our hearts have been broken in our homes, on our jobs, and sometimes the energy that we're manifesting, even though sometimes it's the most bubbly person who's really giving you her last, it's that most bubbly person, the energy that you're really getting from her is spillover. It's spillover. It's what she has left. It's not even her best, but we've been so trained that sometimes even our spillover looks good and feels good to other people. And you know what? Whether it's your job or whether it's the people in your life, we teach people how to treat us. So they're trained to take what we give them, even if it's our last. So I want to give you just a couple of quick points today, that if this is you, if you're right there on the edge, before you take an extreme action, I want to encourage you in this way. Point number one, God has not called you to be a sacrificial lamb. That is not your destiny, to be everything for everybody else, that there's nothing left for yourself. You know, in the scriptures, if you look at the 10 Commandments, even, it says, love your neighbor as yourself. As you love yourself. What is that indicating? That's indicating that you have self-love. That's indicating that the care that you take for yourself, the time that you take with yourself, the self-care, the needs that you have are taken care of by you, right? That you're a priority. And so you can't love your neighbor as yourself unless you first poured into self. And so a very simple scripture like that, we overlook the us part and we immediately look to what we must do for others because we think self-care is selfish. In reality, it's really a sustainable solution and strategy that we have to use. If you're loving your neighbor as yourself, that means you've got to spend some time giving yourself what you need so that you have something left to give your neighbor. You can't love your neighbor as yourself if you haven't first loved yourself. But we miss that part. So let's not do that. Let's not skip over the us part, right? Point number two, I want you to recognize that your humanity does not make you weak. It makes you wise, right? Because we think if we show people our vulnerabilities, if we show them our struggles, yeah, granted, sometimes you don't want to cast your pearls to the swine. Everybody's not going to be on your side. Everybody's not going to understand. They're not going to support you. And so that's why when we get on social media, we only talk about the highs. Nobody talks about the lows. Nobody's talking about the struggle. Nobody's talking about what it took for them to actually get online in the first place, or the things that broke their heart, or that they struggled through before they even made that post or made that video. Nobody's having that conversation. And so we're feeding each other these fake stories, right? Nobody's being honest. And I just want to say that being honest about your whole story, about the ups and the downs, y'all, that's not weak. That's real. That's humanity. We're not perfect. We don't have it all together. And so you don't know who's looking at you and all they see are the highs. But we're not talking about the lows. Like I just posted something recently and I'm celebrating, a major speaking engagement that I'm really excited about. But you know what? It didn't flow like that the way that I wanted it to last year. I know this is my season, but some days, guess what? Your girl was struggling, right? Because I know God has called me to do this work. And sometimes when you know your purpose to do something and you feel it all deep down in your soul and all roads point to it, but the circumstances don't, that's not easy. But we don't talk about that part. And so to the person who's also on a similar road, excuse me, and all they know is the low, where you are seems unattainable. But wherever you get to, wherever you're going, or even while you're in that process, be sure to share the process with somebody that you trust. You may not be able to tell everybody, but somebody needs to know the process of what you're going through, right? Your humanity makes you relatable. Your humanity is what makes you authentic. Your humanity is what make people connect to you, your stories. So this whole idea of just showing the highs and not the lows, it's time out for that. And so even when I think about 2024 being a season of elevation for me, it's also elevating the truth, right? It's elevating the whole truth and nothing but the truth. So help me God. It's telling the highs and the lows. It's being real and relatable for people, right? Third point I want to give yourself the gift of grace. What does that mean? Yes, it means self-care. And I don't mean just getting your nails done. I'm talking about when you wake up in the morning, are you taking time to check in with yourself, to check in with your body? How do you feel, right? What is your body communicating to you? What is your spirit saying? What are your intentions? Like, take some time when you wake up to breathe, like have deep, long breaths and take in the fact that you've been gifted another day to live and really wake up to the day, not on social media, not immediately taking in somebody else's energy, but take in yourself. Do the 3 power M's that I talk about in the book: motivation, meditation, and movement, right? Meditate. Take some time to be grateful that you're awake. Check in with your body and your mind and your spirit. Set your intentions, right? Breathe, long breaths. And then motivation, whether it's something that's on your mirror, a book, a devotional, feed your spirit. Something that motivates you, whether it's music that you love, listen to it, right? Something to get you going for the day, right? And then movement. Move your body. You might have to sit down all day at work. So make sure you start your day moving your body. It's not just good for your body, guys. It's also good for your mind. It's good for your soul. It's good for your spirit, because all that, what happens here to your body and vice versa, right? All that is your nervous system needs to be stimulated. Excuse me. And then the fourth point I want to make is that whatever this year brings you, whatever last year brought you, you have the power, the gift, and the authority to make your pain pay you back. That's right. If it cost you something, time, energy, emotions, whatever it costs you, make it pay you back. It's something that you've already invested in that you can't get back. So how are you going to get the dividends off of everything that you've experienced? And that's what I'm talking about. Tell your story. Make it matter. Share it with somebody who needs an encouraging word. Use your life as a message, right? And even those moments where you don't know how you're going to make it, talk to somebody. Because I wish that's what Antoinette would have done instead of taking her life, because her life is valuable and it was valuable. And maybe it wasn't valuable to that job. But there's so many people who are now talking about her and her story and who are remembering the light that she brought to their lives. But get your flowers while you're alive. She didn't get that. She didn't get enough of it to keep her alive. And I don't know if maybe she did and it didn't work. What I'm saying is that doesn't have to be your story. As we think about how we move forward and all that we have to offer this world, make your pain pay you back. Give yourself the gift of grace. Recognize that your humanity does not make you weak, and you are not the sacrificial lamb. You're not. This year, we are going to elevate our mindset. We are going to elevate our movement. And we're going to elevate everything that is attached to our name. So I just want to give you that word. What happened with her and so many women who are struggling with their mental and emotional health, who are right there on the brink of not knowing how they're going to make it another day. I want you to know you have an option to choose yourself, to remember who you are, and remember that it's not defined by your bank account. It's not defined by your job or your title. It's defined by who you say you are and who God says you are. And don't you deserve it? Don't you deserve to see the other side of your story? Don't give up on yourself until you get to the other side of the elevation, until you get the other side of what you've invested all the time, all the education, all the work, right? Don't give up until you get to the other side of that investment. Make it work for you. See yourself at that next level and hold on to the promise that's inside of you until you get there. It's your girl, Dia Direct. I just wanted to share that word with you. Listen, it's time to arise from the ashes, sis. You deserve it. You do. I love you.